So this video is a compilation of the best freebies from 2021 that you can download and use as a graphic designer. Make sure to watch each section to familiarize yourself with how each resource or download actually works. And if you've already seen a specific section from the past on my channel, you can just move on to the next one. I also have some important messages at the very end of today's video. But until then, enjoy the free stuff, guys. So sending invoices to clients is important for numerous different reasons. Firstly, you will want to keep track of how much you are earning in your career so you can then calculate your spending within the business. But also, when it comes to calculating tax, you will need invoice records to refer back to at the end of the tax year. Another important reason for invoicing is to keep track of who has paid you and who hasn't. When you have multiple clients and multiple projects ongoing at the same time, things can get confusing, and so having invoices telling you who has paid up and who hasn't is really useful. A lot of being a graphic designer is just being organized, but also your clients will often need invoices for their tax records as well. Now, my free template is a neat way to invoice every single client professionally, where you can put in your info, your logo, and make minor changes with ease. But yeah, don't sleep on invoicing because you will regret it later in your career. Now, I often get comments relating to what designers should ask a client at the start of a project. And I've said many times on this channel that the more information you can gather about a client and their brand, the better. However, I have a very concise and a very short questionnaire that I personally offer to my clients at the start of a project. You don't want to be sending them questionnaires with 50 questions on them because they're probably going to be too busy and it will be a tedious task for them to go through. The questions on my questionnaire, though, are direct, and some of them are the most important things you can find out about a client or the brand. These are things that relate to the target market, the unique selling point of the brand, and where the logo is going to be received by the end user. Feel free to modify the questions and maybe add some more if you want to, but this template is for sure a great starting point for you and your next project with a client. The third document is arguably the most crucial, and that is of course the contract. Now, I have shown templates before on this channel about contracts, and my contract today for a logo design project isn't much different. The contract is going to dictate how many revisions the client is entitled to, that you as a designer need a deposit up front before any work is carried out, and that the deposit is not refundable, but also how much you will be paid per hour after all revisions have been used. The contract also protects you from damages relating to the design later down the line, so you cannot be held accountable for how the client will use the design or how that design impacts their business. You are the designer, and that's your job. You're not there to ensure the company succeeds. So yeah, all three documents are essential, and I've given you templates linked down below totally for free. Be sure to edit them and tailor them to your projects and your business. The first font family is Creator Display, and this is one of my favorite sans serif font families of all time. Creator Display has 14 fonts within the family, and just take a look at how sleek and how modern this looks. Available in italics and various different font weights, this typeface is awesome on headings, on body text, and just about anywhere you can think of. So you probably know how much I love the font family Elron. Well, this family right here might just rival that top spot for me as the best sans serif font family, when considering free font downloads anyway. But yeah, number 2 today is Dolce Vita, which is found in 3 font versions. Now, Dolce Vita is classy, it's sophisticated, and also it's modern. There are no lowercase letter forms, so this one would be great on titles and also headings for things like fashion magazines, maybe sci-fi based artwork and things like that. The slanted A's and V's really give this one some character, and it's just a great sans serif font. So if you're into angular straight lines, then maybe Dolce Vita is for you. Next up we have Linux Libertine, which has rapidly become one of my all-time favourite serif font families. So we have 5 fonts that display the characters beautifully in elegance and importance. And as with most serif fonts, you're going to want to use this on the correct design at the correct time. So maybe something to express a feeling of formality, as opposed to being friendly and informal. It needs to express importance, class, and maybe something expensive. We all need a few good serif typefaces in our collection, and this one is probably one you should download. So fourth on today's list is Gouda Glynn, and this is a novel sans serif typeface with 14 fonts, and it is pretty unique. This would be great for headings and titles because there are no lowercase letter forms to be seen, but the typeface itself is really well made, and I think you're going to find many great uses for this, such as poster designs and publications with titles and so on. The same could be said about the next typeface, Kiona. This is a standalone typeface pretty much because we just have one normal font version and then an italic version to accompany it. I really like the K letter forms on this one, and everything comes across as so crisp and so refined and modern. A lot of attention has been paid to the design of this typeface, and that hasn't gone unnoticed by me. It's something else entirely compared to what is out there in the market that is free for commercial use. So if you have a design that is targeting young or modern demographics, this could be a great choice as it is cutting edge and really modern. And the next typeface is a step up from the previous version, and it is ultra modern. Azonix is a great choice for sci-fi based designs or anything that can be classed as modern. The A's have no crossbars, which adds to that refined minimal look that modern design is so affiliated with these days. So yeah, all of these fonts are free to download for commercial based use, and they're actually all from dafont.com. So the first free resource today is a super quick and a very easy method at making mockups with your designs. And there isn't a huge selection just yet, but that's probably going to change with time. So this resource is 100% free, and you can use the download for commercial or personal use. You can search in the sidebar panel for a mockup, so maybe a phone, a tablet, or in this case that I'm going to show you, a laptop. Now you can see the dimensions here, and you simply just click the screen and locate your source image or your design. This is just a preview, and it obviously doesn't look that realistic yet, so you are going to need to download the final output. If you want to download one of the high-res versions, you either need to donate or just say that you have donated before, and spoiler alert, I haven't actually donated. But I probably will do because it's going to help this website grow. So as you can see, this is a pretty neat mockup, and it was made in seconds. There are so many free font resources out there, and I've covered most of them on this channel before, so things like Font Squirrel, Dafont and so on. But I have today one that I've recently discovered and it is pretty neat, and that is FontSpace. So we do have that crucial commercial use button, which means that every font we view is going to be okay for commercial use. So let's come down to the bottom and have a look at what kind of sans serif fonts we can grab for free. I actually really like this one here, so I'm going to grab it now. Oh, and this one too, because I have been looking for a new bold and tall sans serif font. And so yeah, you can see that there is a nice selection of fonts for you to browse over. And at the top here, you can adjust the preview display options, as well as a few other things too. So do check out FontSpace. There isn't a designer out there who wants to waste their time. And yes, as most of us can probably design an icon, you shouldn't really waste 1, 2, or 3 hours designing icons for your projects. And so this resource is going to help you save time. There are many icons on here, and for many kinds of niches and subjects, even logos of famous entities such as Amazon. The cool thing about this resource is that you can multi-click your icons that you want to download. So maybe you're working on a project based around a very specific topic, and then you can come into the download button and just grab all of the icons you've selected in one download package. So like every resource today, this one is linked down below, but do watch the rest of today's video because there are 2 more remaining. So if you are an astute designer or a business person, you will surely be sending emails to people on a regular basis. So this resource offers you many templates for your next email campaign. And you do need to sign up to access the downloads. It is free of course, but you do need to give up an email address. So if you want to take your business or your marketing seriously, using custom emails is one way to really boost your career and take things to the next level. Have you ever wondered the exact color palettes of famous brands? Well, this resource allows you to search for a brand or a company and then find the exact colors they've used across their entire branding campaign. You can simply just click the colors and it's going to be added to your clipboard. Or you can actually click the entire brand itself and then download it to various different outcomes. Apart from this simply being interesting to see what colors brands have used, it could be a very helpful resource for your next branding or logo project. Today's list is quite unknown to most people, and that starts with Mockups spelt like this. So we have 565 free mockup downloads, but the ones I found on here are very unique, which is why I'm showing you this website today. There are categories to search here, but as I always say, a good test of a mockup website is their apparel section. So as you can see, these are high quality, in focus and free downloads. So essentially we are all good with this website. However, this first one was just a warm up. The next resource is totally stacked out with free downloads. Looking on the left hand side, FreebiesBug has categories such as PSD files, Illustrator freebies, mockups, templates, code stuff, fonts, inspiration and loads more. The freebies relating to coding is pretty interesting and it's something you don't typically find on a free resource website. So if you are a website or app developer, this might just intrigue you. We all love fonts, I'm pretty sure of that. And here we can see a nice selection of free to download commercial use fonts. The cool thing is that they are all displayed using artwork that showcases the typeface. But yeah, always make sure to check the license. But as you can clearly see here with this lovely sans serif font, it is free for commercial and also personal use. The next resource in today's video is called IconMonster, and this place has a huge range of icons to grab and download for your next project, totally for free. We can browse categories or just search for something specific, but what you're going to realize is that these icons are high quality and they can easily come in handy for various different graphic design projects. Also, when you go to download an icon, you can get it in SVG, EPS, PSD or even PNG. If we take a look at the legal mumbo jumbo, which is actually quite important, we can see we're permitted to use them on non-commercial and also for commercial use. So yeah, don't worry, Satori has got your back when it comes to commercial use of freebies. The last thing with this website is you can download a font that is made up of icons instead of letters. So for example, A will be an icon, and then B would be a completely different icon and so on. This is helpful because you won't need to download individual icons, you can just type out whatever you want on the go. This next graphic design resource is a beast of a website. FDR or Free Design Resources has fonts, mockups, graphics, templates, add-ons and so much more. The add-ons are particularly interesting because these are extensions for Adobe programs that allow you to do things the original coding would not. There are quite a lot of add-ons for Photoshop, but the Illustrator range is kinda limited. Again, this website has a nice selection of fonts and they're displayed with artwork, and this is so much better than just seeing each typeface in black lettering on a white background. It does show the character of the typeface and also what kind of design it would possibly work on. So firstly we have Unsplash, which is in my opinion the best high quality place to get stock images and stock photos. The quality is really amazing considering all of the downloads are free to use. I use these pictures a lot for video creation but also things to do with my Photoshop workflow. And like I said, it is probably the highest quality place for images that you can get for free. And we're going to move from Unsplash to Unblast, which is the place that I personally go to get mockups these days. There's a huge range of ever-expanding mockups on Unblast, as well as other things like fonts and stuff like that and templates. But I do specifically go to Unblast just for their mockups alone. And I use mockups a lot for presenting logo designs to clients, but also I do use them sometimes in my video creations right here on YouTube. And like I said, there are some fonts on Unblast, but the majority of my fonts are not sourced from Unblast. There are 3 different websites I find myself returning to each and every time to grab myself free fonts. And those are DaFont, Font Squirrel, and then also Google Fonts. Obviously, Google Fonts have all of the fonts that you can use for commercial use online. But when it comes to DaFont and also Font Squirrel, I like to use these settings where I'm only going to be filtering out those fonts that are completely free for commercial use. I don't want to have any legal or licensing issues later down the road, so these are really good websites to get some awesome and useful free fonts for commercial use. Now, when it comes to vectors, Freepik is a really awesome place to grab some outstanding and some useful vectors, but also PSDs as well. Again, I filter everything out that's free, so you don't have to sign up for a premium account. And with Freepik, you have a limited amount that you can download for free. However, you can always sign into Google or different Google accounts to extend how many times you can download free content in one day. But yeah, Freepik is really awesome for those who want some decent quality vectors. But now when it comes to recording my screen for, say, Illustrator tutorials, I use something called Quicktime, which comes free with my Mac. And that produces a really high quality and crisp screen recording experience. Now, many people do ask me, what do I use to record my screen? And that is it, I use Quicktime. So if you're ever thinking about making videos or anything of that nature, Quicktime probably is one of the best ways to go, and for me it was free on my Mac. Another freebie that I use in my workflow is InvoiceHome. This just makes invoicing clients very, very easy and fast, and it is free up until a certain point. I think that is $1,000 per month or something like that. But when you've actually invoiced more than $1,000, you will need to sign up, and it's only about €5 per month anyway. Or you could just make different accounts and keep using different accounts to ensure you have a free experience with these websites. Now, what do I personally edit my videos on? Well, I use something called Davinci Resolve, which is again free. You can do things such as video editing, motion graphics, and also audio editing as well. For something that's free, this is a hugely powerful program, and I use it on every single video I make. There are other times I hire someone to design complex motion graphics, and they often work in After Effects. But yeah, Davinci Resolve is completely free. And speaking of footage, or stock footage for that matter, I often find myself going to somewhere called Mixkit, which when they first came onto the scene, everything was free and their videos are very, very high quality. But these days they have some of the videos for free, and some of them are a premium account linked to Envato elements. But the other place I use for stock footage is PexelsVideo. This is another great place to get 100% free, royalty-free stock footage for your next project. And I find I use it quite often. And if you guys want some really cool and free illustrations, I suggest going to UnDraw. They have quite a wide expanse of illustrations there for you to grab completely for free, and you can just use the search bar to find what you're looking for. So there was a very quick rundown of the things that I use in my workflow that are completely free. And as you can tell, I've covered pretty much every base of graphic design, apart from things like Adobe Illustrator, which I personally prefer using over things that are free. But you can check all of these websites and resources linked down in the description box below. So seeing as we're so close to the end of 2021, I'm not going to be back until the new year. Monday the 3rd of January is going to be the next upload, and that's where I'm going to explore ways that designers and marketing teams can hack the brains of consumers. Now that video is going to prove to be helpful to you in your work, and maybe more importantly your portfolio. And also, many people have been asking about the new competition. Due to the holidays and an illness, December has been a month where I haven't been too focused and too proactive. But there will be a new cash prize design competition in January, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And apart from that guys, stay safe, have a very positive start to the new year, and wish you all the best, and I will see you in 2022. Oh, of course, if you want to watch more graphic design content, just click a video on screen.